guys, welcome back to another episode of Sludge Underground, and then continuing the vein of interviewing all the finalists for the 2025 Wacken Metal Battle Sub-Saharan Africa. Today I have got Lenny from Irony Destroyed. Lenny, please introduce yourself and what it is you do in the band.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. Lenny Kiano, lead guitarist of Irony Destroyed. We're based in Nairobi, Kenya, and we're a metalcore band. yeah,
Like, I'm really excited to see you guys play. I've been checking out your latest music video that you guys uploaded on YouTube. What was the song called again? Begins with an E. Hold on a sec.
Elysian.
Man, what a rad track! I am so stoked to see you guys in South Africa. How are you guys feeling about the trip down?
Yeah, I think we're very, very excited. I think it's a big opportunity for us. It's been a long time vision and dream for the band to like play outside the country, like play in an international scale, and this platform gives us the opportunity to do so. So we started the band almost over a decade ago, and that looking at other bands, international bands doing it, and that's something we always aspire to. So this is just the start, and we're really excited, and we're really appreciative of the opportunity.
That's exciting stuff. You said the band started about 10 years ago.
We started like 10 years ago. That's around 2015. About I inherited the band. 'Cause the band originally was formed by a group of people who just left high school, and I think they were just going their separate ways. And I just joined when now everyone was going their separate ways. So I inherited the band, and at that time I had the opportunity either to change the name, just change everything. But I liked the name, and at the time it was more of now getting new members because it was just starting from ground zero. And at that time, Facebook was quite popular, and reached out to people on groups, etc. And I'm looking for a drummer, I'm looking for a bassist, and so on, and got a few people together. And over the years, like once the music started taking shape, I think one or two people like started just also like departing, and they're like, but so far so good. The journey has been really good, and that's just more to touch on a very high level retrospective of how far we've come. A few lineup changes just because of time and people's priorities and what they need to focus on. But we're really lucky that right now the band has a very solid lineup that we can continue with the band's vision. Yeah.
No, man, that's great. And like, what I find interesting is that like South African bands struggle with this as well, despite having more of an infrastructure for it. Your guys is like your the fact that you have music art, that you have music videos art. Like, what are some of the challenges that you've experienced in doing that? Like in terms of finding ways to record your music, to film music videos, and to do all of those type of things.
Yeah, good question. I think given this line of music, like actually metal here in Kenya is like the least popular genre ever. Nobody listens to it. Our shows are just more or less the same people, but at least so far we've been seeing people. It's picking up. Like we're seeing new faces, but yeah, it's least supported. No one really understands it when we try to like look for shows or look for venues. People just don't understand what it is and don't want to like kind of be associated with it. So that of course comes with its challenges in terms of now, you know, if we want to look for studios to record, or maybe artwork, or people who just want to really associate with us. But like it's been more DIY. We just do it ourselves. Like we just get our own recording gear in order. In the band everyone is kind of like an expert at something. Like maybe I'll do a bit of designs, Douglas might also do a bit of designs. So we're all kind of like well rounded to pick up something. So recording, we normally just record like actually in my home studio. And like somebody else we might outsource to master or something like that. So it's us pulling people where we need to pull people. We're fortunate that we have like I'd say we onboarded like video creator, content creator for us. He's called Joshua. He's been part of the team, and he's really making us look good with the music videos and all that. So it's just like the people who want to be a part of us, like they just absorb, and we just like work with them, and it's easy to delegate, and everyone kind of like knows what to do. Because you say, like, for me, I'm more in charge of recording, putting the song together, and putting people's ideas together. Then it can be mastered by someone, or I'll master it. Yeah. And in terms of the music video, we have a video editor who does that. And artwork, I can do artwork, somebody else can do artwork. So it's everyone can chime in and do something, yeah, to just get a piece of material out there.
I mean, that's fantastic though. Like the fact that everyone kind of picked up a skill in order to do it. And what I find is interesting is that that's what a lot of bands are doing these days in general. Like, recording like a full-on studio is expensive. Like it is really expensive to go and record at a full studio. And it's even worse for you guys because there aren't really, like you said, there aren't really many people who get what you guys are doing within Kenya. And like I find that most of the bands that I've been in, it's mostly been DIY. It's mostly like there's one person in the band who is qualified at a certain thing, like you said. And I do feel like that makes you a little bit more independent as a band. It doesn't make you as reliant on the people around you, but it is kind of also, well, shit, there's no one else to do this. Let me figure out how to do it myself type of deal, which is mad impressive that you guys even did that in the first place. I gotta ask, is that a poster of Zorro in the background?
Yes, yes, this is Zorro.
Okay,
It's
like,
actually somebody painted this. I got it as a gift. Yeah, I'm an anime fan, and Zorro is just my all-time favorite anime character. Yeah.
that's sick. I've got a drawing of Ichigo on my wall that someone drew for me.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so 100,
Yeah,
like we're on the same sort of page there, I
same
guess.
page. Yeah.
With like your explanation of like metal being like the least popular genre in Kenya, what made you decide that you wanted to do that? How did you even get involved in it in the first place?
Yeah, I think for me personally, okay, I think for the other bands got into it differently, but for me personally, I started out listening to soft rock. It's more of a graduation process. I started listening to soft rock. I think soft rock is generally appeals to everyone. It's a bit soothing, and it's catchy. So that was way back when I was like really young, listening to soft rock. Then there was Linkin Park, Evanescence, those early 2000s rock. Then gradually, like, I think I bought a CD that had Slipknot on it, like a track of Slipknot. Also, my cousin at the time had an iPod that had tracks from Slipknot or something like that, and that's why everything just changed. I was like, this is just sick. Like, it's so angry. It had so much emotions, and I just resonated with that. So that's how I just became a metalhead naturally. And yeah, at a point in time, I realized that, okay, I'm actually the only one who is actually listening to this stuff in my circle. Like, nobody understands this, but I'm the one who is into it. Like, at the time in high school, I was kind of like, had an emo phase, I guess. I was gothic and stuff like that. People really didn't understand that, but I was very like passionate about it. But over the years, I think I started finding people actually now, like, other rockers and other people who like listen to it. And yeah, then I realized there's actually a small community, like, there's a group, Kenyan rockers or something like that. So yeah, we that was more back in the day, and discovering that like, this line of music is actually really good. But I'd say it's a gradual process. Like, right now, if you try to give somebody a metal track who doesn't listen to it, they'll not really understand. But I'd say it's a gradual process before you can really understand what metal is about. But I'd say metal is the best music ever. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of practice, and it's not like processed. You need to play it. You need to articulate metal. So yeah, it's just the best. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree with you. Metal is not the kind of genre that you just fall into one day. I mean, I find my story of getting involved in metal is actually really like similar to yours in the regard of I'd also started off with like soft rock bands, Linkin Park being a big one. And I remember I was in high school and someone gave me a CD with Breaking Benjamin, Evanescence, Killswitch Engage, and Bullet for My Valentine. And I think like between Bullet for My Valentine and Killswitch, those were like my two that kind of started getting me into the heavier stuff from there. And to this day, like Killswitch is still one of my favorite bands of all time. Like, and I 100% agree is that you drop someone into it with, hey, this is God, what is a good example? This is
Lona Shore.
I wanted to say Infant Tonight. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is my sugar. Have a listen to
yeah.
this. It's gonna be like, no, what the fuck am I listening to? And it is always like a sort of a gradual process. It just gets heavier over time. I agree with you 100%. How do you guys feel about the bands that you competed with? Like, so in your heat within the bands that you went up against.
We were supposed to be three bands. There was one band, I think it was called Ungratefully Alive, but I think they didn't get to travel, or maybe a lineup issue or something. But we competed now against the other band called Chovu. I think they're a black, kind of like a black metal band. Yeah, and there was us. So it was just between us and LYT. Last year's tragedy was the guest performers, and yeah, it was the battle was okay. The battle was a battle because there was a shift in venues, and we ended up playing in a parking lot. In a basement kind of parking lot. So we were literally battling with acoustics. Like one snare hit was ringing everywhere. So it was insane. But the scenes from it looks really cool. Like that's like the metal thing ever, like playing in a parking lot or something like that. So it was really cool. The looks was cool, but the sound was could have been better. But I think like the team, the sound guys really like did their best, and yeah, like we managed to pull something off. In terms of competition, I think we all like I think us and the other band Chovu were like I think on the far end in terms of like our sounds. So it was more. I don't know if it came down to preference or because I think they really did a good job. I think they have this dark style, and I don't know. It's they're very unique. That's what I'd say. And I think maybe some people might have a hard time trying to understand that. But for me, I say if that's the theme, go with it. Like if you're doing dark metal or whichever, how it looks like you're doing the corpse paint, you're doing everything, go in on it. Like that's your thing. So we all put on a good show, and yeah, I think we were just fortunate to go through, and yeah, it was an awesome time, really. Like, yeah, and we're just awesome to have gotten to this stage.
I do also feel like for you guys specifically, like with it being such a small, like tight knit scene, a battle does seem like a bit, it's harder because like you know everyone around you. It's you guys. It's not like there's a big enough community for you to be up against people that you've never seen before, you've never heard of before. So it can be a bit tricky in that regard as well. But I'm also like the playing in the underground parking lot. I agree with you. Like that must have been the snare of doom at that point, but it must have been a really fun experience.
Yeah, like I think some of the organizers were saying like, okay, this. I think they were saying that this is more of like the god tier, like final boss, a venue. Like we have to battle it out here. So now since we did it there, like I think we're very super confident moving forward. Yeah, because I think even before that that was like our second show. We had like two shows, including that one, so back to back, like this weekend we're playing one, the other weekend we're playing another one. So it really gave us a lot of confidence, like just in terms of our setup, our sound, like our setting up and everything, and playing and crowd engagement. So yeah, I think it's we were in a very good place to like anticipate anything, so those dynamics, it's like you never really know what you're going to walk into in terms of a show. But that we feel like we've that has put us with good experience, and yeah, we can't wait to come down and just do what we do.
No, absolutely. And like you said, this is obviously the first time that the band is playing outside of Kenya. Have any of you guys ever been to South Africa before?
Yeah, I think vocalist Doug has been in South Africa before. He's also in another band. He plays bass in another band called Crystal Axis. I think Crystal Axis had a few shows in South Africa, so at least he has experience, and he's kind of guiding us through it. And yeah, so I think yeah, it's only actually him, and yeah, so I think we're in a good place since he's kind of like guiding us and telling us what to do, or what the things we need to prepare for, the things that we need to like have ready, for a smooth trip.
That helps a hell of a lot. Just having those, like, people don't realize that those, like, small inputs, like, those are the things that put a musician on edge. Like, how much time do I have? What do I need? What do I need to bring? What do I And when you don't have answers to those questions, it just makes everything infinitely more stressful.
Yeah, but we're very much. I think we're just really right now. We're really like preparing for all that. We want at least before we travel, like we have a checklist. We want to check everything off. We just want to have the most smoothest transition there, and not really like experience any like difficulties along the way. Yeah, we just want to like really just so long as we get there in one piece, that's okay. Like whatever happens, we're just there for a good time and really interact with the other bands, really like see how the scene is. And yeah, we're just really excited, to come down and see the scene that's there.
Yeah, and then, like, moving back sort of to the Kenyan scene, like, do you think it has the potential to grow, to become something? Do you think it has the potential to put out more bands and more artists and more like people who are interested in that type of music?
Yeah, of course. I think we've had our peaks, our plateaus, and our plummets. Yeah, because like back in the day, I think around 2013, we did those there was these I'd say events that were really big. I think one was called Rams and Arms. That's how I got into like the scene and actually looking at bands playing live. So that particular event was, I think, endorsed by Coca Cola. So like it had like a lot of people sponsoring such events, and also that was a battle. Like it was a battle of the bands, and bands would sign up to participate. And actually that was a very good platform because like you would see new bands out of nowhere. People are forming bands just to compete, and I think I'm not sure if there was a prize money or something like that, but like it was a battle, and it was an event where it's there's a battle and there's like other activities like skateboarding, and those outdoorsy activities, so all in one place. So it encouraged a lot of kids to come, and you also get a rock show at the same time. So that's how I joined into the scene, and I was just mind blown because at the time there was some other OG bands. We call them the OG bands, or the founder metal and rock bands. That's Mortal Soul and Last Days Strategy in Oath. But for me particularly, I saw Mortal Soul in that particular gig, and that's what triggered me to want to actually be in a band and do that, because they were playing like Bullet for My Valentine covers, and that was the sickest thing I've ever seen. So I was like, I also want to do that at one point. Yeah, so yeah, at that time I was just a newbie. Like I just picked up the guitar, so that gave me the motivation. It's like, okay, now I need to like do some cover songs and like really get technical and all that. So we definitely have the potential to grow. It's just more of coordinating with the right people, the right platforms. I think we have Rock Society of Kenya. The Rock Society of Kenya are really doing a good job in terms of endorsing us, supporting us. We they always encourage us on what to do, what not to do, who to talk to, and they set up also a few shows associated with shows. So we definitely have potential. Like right now, I see like we're now in an upward trajectory. So because I'm seeing like younger people now, I'm not seeing the familiar people anymore. I'm seeing much more younger people, and they're coming and they're buying our merchandise. So yeah, there's definitely room to grow. We just need to keep the momentum. What happens if we don't keep the momentum? No one is coming, no one is not aware. And yeah, like we have, yeah, I think this, especially this year, there's I saw another platform called Rock Riot. I think they're mostly doing like DJ events, but I've seen they're also having bands play. So, and they are trying to really like mainstream. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. We just need to keep the momentum, and over time, people will understand what rock and metal is, and there's a community, yeah, for it.
One of the most rewarding things is seeing new faces at shows, seeing new faces in the crowd and at events and stuff. And like I firmly believe that like you guys will have a positive impact on your scene overall. Like just with the you know, you're not just, how do I say, something to motivate people, but you also set a standard. Like especially look, like I said, looking at your socials, looking at your releases, looking at your music, how it sounds, how it's structured, your music videos, like that sets a standard. Like I know that if I was a kid and I saw that, I wanted to play guitar, I would be like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be like.
Exactly.
And it helps a lot. So I definitely think like you guys will play a big role in your scene moving forward. And like also like looking at the map though, like in terms of like where Kenya is located in Africa, like it doesn't help that you guys are kind of isolated from the other places in Africa that are, also making metal music.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I don't I don't ever really hear of anything coming out of like Tanzania or Uganda or Somalia or Ethiopia or South Sudan. I don't really hear anything at all about music coming out of those places. And
yeah. Right.
whereas with us, it's, we have Namibia to like on our border, Botswana, Mozambique. There's a lot of like death metal and deathcore bands that come out of Mozambique, and
Yeah.
it helps that we're neighbor. Oh shit! Just fucking beat my
Sorry.
mic. It's
Yeah.
okay, but it helps that we're neighbors in that regard. So yes, while it's a bit of travel, it's, at least it's your neighbor, and you're not having to go over like two or three countries just to get somewhere where it could be a little bit more interesting. So I'm really stoked to have you guys here. I'm really stoked to have you guys in South Africa and see, um, well, not for you guys to see what the scene is like here, but for our scene to see you guys. Because like a big talk amongst a lot of us, especially the guys who have been in the scene for a while, is we need to stop looking across the seas. We need to start looking like within Africa. So getting
Definitely.
guys to try and play shows elsewhere in Africa. So organizing to play shows in Namibia or Botswana or, you know, hopefully at some point even Kenya.
Yeah, yeah.
And it would be cool to, sort of try and build up the sort of trade off of bands that, travel between the countries. That would be rad. I know it's not always financially feasible, but it's definitely something to consider, whether it's a small scene or anything, just, help grow it,
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, I think that's a very good observation you made. That, yeah, we're actually isolated. Like our neighboring countries, there's nothing coming out there in terms of like rock and metal. And I think what Wacken is doing is such an amazing thing, like uniting the community in Africa, for in metal and rock, and yeah, because now this gives us an opportunity to come down and play there, and actually, if any SA bands can come to Kenya, you will find we will people will turn up, and it's gonna be a good time, So yes, it's unfortunate that, of course, travel and etc. But yeah, like it's good to know that we're actually, there's a community, and I think with the internet and everything, like you can really like stay connected and see what other bands are doing, Yeah, so it's a good thing what Wacken is doing, and yeah, I think hopefully it'll continue cutting across countries, and we can just see and grow this community, because I feel like there's a lot of potential we have. I think we just lack the proper infrastructure, the proper gear to like, there's a proper support to like really articulate, what we have in mind and our ideas and styles. Because yeah, I think we've seen a lot of success stories from very isolated countries, like in Europe and the like. I think what resonates is also like Parkway Drive, how they started in Australia. I think they had a scene there, but also they just rose from their scene, and it's just an isolated place. So I think that's what gives us a lot of motivation to continue doing it. It's like, yeah, it's only a matter of time till like, something happens for us, and this is us a start. We feel like this is as a start for us. Like it's a dream come true to come down and play there. and yeah, and just see what other opportunities can come from us just continuing with the momentum.
No, absolutely. And like you said, it's rad like what Wacken is doing because like this is how I found out about you guys. Someone else from the team came to me and was like, "Dude, have you heard this band?" And they showed me your music video, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is rad! I'm gonna go check
Yeah,
it out." And I sat in Discord with another mate of mine who's a drummer this side,
yeah,
and we sat in Discord, literally just scrolling through all of your stuff and being like, "Fucking cool!" Like, so
awesome.
you've definitely
Yeah,
made you've made at least two or three fans that I know of personally this side already. So I'm just stoked to see you guys and to hang out and have a chat. So
awesome, awesome. I'm also looking forward to it, man.
I'm sorry, I keep looking at the wall behind you, and like I
Yeah,
realize more and more that we're gonna get along because like I can see the Space Marine, like I see you've got
yeah.
like a what. So I'm a Warhammer nut. I love Warhammer.
Same.
I can see a couple of other things like that, like I vaguely recognize, but
Yeah,
like there's obviously the Zara. I am a One Piece fan. The Space Marines and stuff. We're both
yeah.
guitarists. I feel like I actually
We're
can't
just
wait
gonna
to like
kick
meet
out.
you in person. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a common thing amongst I guess guitarists or people who are into metal. Like we're just kind of we just have our own thing going on. I think I've never met somebody who is into metal and kind of not into anime or you know, or if you look at I don't know, but you at least at some point you've watched an anime or something, or you're into gaming. You have to pick one. It's either you watch anime or you're a gamer, or yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Well,
both.
you're a nerd.
Yeah,
You're a nerd in some way. Like you're a,
yeah.
there's very much like a fandom that you're a part of. It's very
It,
nerdy and very niche. Like I agree with you. I don't think I've ever met a guitarist in metal who doesn't have something like that either.
exactly, and yeah, it's funny we have some things in common. So it's yeah, we're looking forward to side chats and yeah, just getting to see what's up.
My man, on that note, where can people find you? Where can people find your music? Just give a quick shout out there.
Yeah, so people can find our music pretty much everywhere on your favorite streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere, Amazon, we're all there. Yeah, we can find our music everywhere on YouTube as well. Like we have music, a channel there where we post our music videos, etc. And yeah, like check out our music. It's the sickest thing ever, and yeah, it's yeah, you can find us pretty much on all music platforms. Yeah.
Sure. Lenny, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with me today. I really appreciate it. I am so stoked to meet you guys when you come down on the 3rd.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to the trip and interacting with you and the rest of the band and the bands and everyone in general. So we're very much looking forward to it. And yeah, we're gonna give it our all and yeah, have a good time.